Hey everyone, this is Valerie, and I'm here today with another homeschooling video. Today I wanted to talk to you moms who are starting to teach your children how to read, how to write, how to count, and you're planning on using the Abeka homeschooling curriculum, their materials, and I wanted to talk to you about which ones are really helpful and which ones you can live without. Now, first of all, I love all of Abeka's materials. They're all excellent, they're all well done, they're all well made, but they're not all absolutely necessary. If you're on a budget, then this is the video for you because I want to tell you what is essential to their learning to read and write and do math through the Abeka curriculum and what's not so essential or what you can make yourself. I've taught this program to my 5 children. They've all learned to read. They've all learned to count. Abeka did a great job, and I learned through trial and error which materials were absolutely necessary and which ones were not so much. So I wanted to tell you, so maybe it would save you some money and some time and help you out. So I'd like to show you some of them. Some of them I don't own anymore. I have held on to a lot of material because I work in a co-op. Our homeschool group has a co-op where we team teach and teach different classes, and it's volunteer, and so I never know what visuals might come in handy for what class. So I kind of hang on to things, and I'm kind of sentimental when it comes to some things, and I haven't been able to really part with things. My youngest is going into 4th grade, so I've been through with some of these materials for quite a while now, but I'm glad I have some of them so I can show you. So first of all, let's talk about phonics. You will need all of the textbooks from Abeka for the student and all of the readers that they tell you to buy. Get all of them. They're wonderful. They're very helpful. They're very good. It's a very progressive, slowly, in my opinion. It doesn't go too fast. It depends. Every child is different. You can always slow the program down if you need to, but I think it goes at a nice pace, and the readers are very essential to that. So you'll need the readers. You'll need their phonics workbook. You'll need their handwriting with phonics. They have a manuscript option and they have a cursive option. I always use the manuscript, and then we transition to cursive. So that's just my personal opinion, but you will need the handwriting, the phonics, and their math workbook, and then they also have a math or a numbers writing book where they just write numbers and practice writing numbers, and that is very useful. And I tried getting away with not using that for one of my children, and I ended up ordering it later in the year because I found it was really necessary to have that. So you'll want that. You will not need the teacher's guides for these books. You won't need the teacher's guides for the readers. You won't need the teacher's guides for the actual textbooks because they're going to be very simple for you to grade, very easy to look over very quickly and grade those. It's not going to take much time. So you can save your money on the teacher's guides, and you will need the lesson plans. Now, a lesson plan book from Abeka has, like, lesson 14 tells you what materials you'll need for that lesson. It tells you in bold the words you should say, should you want a script to follow, and I often did use that in the early days. It can tell you, how you're going to teach the lesson, what you're going to say, and then in italics beneath that, it will give you an idea of what your student should respond for the answer, and then it'll tell you, have student complete textbook page 14 or whatever. And so it's very, very, very helpful. It tells you when to do the quizzes, all of that, testing. So get the teacher's guides, get the textbooks, get the workbooks, and get the readers. Okay. Also, basic phonics charts. You will need the basic phonics charts, and I still have mine. Now, these have all been revised. I've laminated them because they've lasted me, 10 or 11 years as I taught my kids at different, they came along. But this is a very essential chart, this vowel chart. It has the vowels in alphabetical order on one side, and then it has them the way they're introduced in the curriculum on the other side. They teach I as the very first letter, and then U, and they teach other consonants in between there. But this is the order that they teach the vowels in, and the clue words. This is called the clue word. These little pictures and the words. So I says it as an Indian, and I did notice when I was looking at the catalog, they've now changed this to inchworm, so I'm a little behind the times on this one. But this is the clue word. That's important to know with Abeka when I refer to some of these other materials. This is not the only chart you get in that set. You get several. One of the charts you get in that, and again, they're not going to look exactly the same as mine because mine are older, but I think they're basically still done the same. This is the cursive side for the alphabet one, and then the print. And then this is the consonant chart, and these are all the clue words that they teach. And these are very important to have. Notice too, these are the 8.5 by 11 size. These are the homeschool version of these charts. You do not want to buy the Christian school version because they are huge, like for a class. And then these are some of the other charts. All of these charts are essential to the program. They need to know. These are the special sounds they'll be learning: k and duck, e and me, o and go, I and fly, a and pray. Then you will want the Phonics Games. Now, I believe it's sold as Phonics Charts and Games. So I believe that includes these charts and then the Phonics Games. And I'm not sure, my games have gotten all kind of mixed together over the years because Abeka offers 3 types of games for you to play in your homeschool. Learning games, which can be used for your phonics and your numbers. Phonics games, which you use mostly just for phonics, but I've used them for all kinds of things. And then they sell numbers games, which have counting. There's ordinal numbers that you can, a game about ordinal numbers they can learn. And so there's 3 types of games. I'm not sure, the games I'm showing you, I'm not sure which set they go with, but I recommend getting all those sets of games: the learning games, the phonics games, and the numbers games. This was one of the favorite games that my kids had, and I laminated these. None of these charts or anything came laminated. I did that myself because I wanted them to last, and they have, by the way. They've lasted very well. But this is where you dress the bears. They have clothes, and I've got them in an envelope separately. So when you first get these, there's a lot of cutting involved, but it's well worth it to organize it in envelopes and pull these out to play review games. So there's clothes they put on. And so, for instance, we would play this game if they could spell one of their special sounds, like how do we spell k and duck? If they could say CK, then they got to put clothes on one of the bears. And then on the back, there's a winter scene. There's 3 of these, and they go together and make a really long winter scene. And there's ice skaters and little animals throwing snowballs and a winter scene, and they can place the pieces on, or you can think of other creative things to do with the pieces. And there's tons of games like that. That's only 2. There are tons of them, and they're so fun. Here's another example of a game. I laminated this, and I laminated the pieces. This is a house, you can see, and it has all these cute little rooms. And then you can pull off one of the pieces and reveal somebody doing something. And my kids really like this game as well. I'm thinking this came with the numbers, but again, I can't remember. The reason I think that is because on the back, there's this elevator game. And I don't remember how we played that either. This elevator goes up and down the floors. So they tell you, though, in the book, in the lesson plans, like review with a game, you know. So the games all include these booklets that tell you how to play. Here's the one for the numbers charts and games, the phonics charts and games and teaching tips, and the learning games. Okay, so the winter scene went with the learning games. There's this duck, all those little raindrops and these little flowers blooming are their pieces. Peter Rabbit. This is a Peter Rabbit game that's really fun. Here is a sample of the charts. Okay, so the Mouse House was with the phonics. Okay, it's been a while. And then this is the numbers charts. They include several charts for teaching numbers, and I don't think I have a lot of these anymore, but they're very good to have. You need them for that. And then there's some samples. There's the ordinal number game I was mentioning. So you get these booklets with the games, and they're helpful. And then also the lesson plans tell you what to do. Next, you will need the letter picture flashcards. They may be included in the parent kit because that's how important they are, but if they're not, you need to get them. That's the whole spine of the program for teaching children to recognize their letters. You'll use them in a variety of ways. So get those. You will need the basic phonics flashcards. Now you will not use these basic phonics flashcards, and I'll show you a sample. Like for instance, here's the very first one that I've already used as an example. So let's pick another one. Let's do and stop. So on these cards, these are also very large, 8.5 by 11 cards, and they have these great pictures. And then on the back of them are words that use that special sound. And so there you show them that it can come at the front of the word or it can come at the end of the word. And they read these words. In their phonics workbooks, they will circle the special sound. So in this word, they would find 2. They'd find and stop and duck. And here's and stop. And let's see, I think those all just have ST in the rest of them. But anyway, if there are other sounds that they've already learned, they would mark all of those. And so you could rehearse, you could practice all of them with the card. And Again, there's that clue word picture that they would need to know. So these are essential to the program. I love them. They're very great. A great way you can mix them up and review very quickly with them as they're learning their letters and their sounds. So you definitely, it's another essential component to their program. Blend practice cards. There's A, and then there's this giant stack, B. Very important to the program. These basic phonics flashcards that I just showed you will not be used until the very end of kindergarten, but then they're used all through first grade, and they're used almost completely through second grade as well. So 2.5 years you're going to be using these cards with one student. And don't worry, they're going to need them. At least mine did. It was very good because, like I said, Abeka is great at building, review. Your kids, my kids have all been really good readers, and I owe a lot of it to this program. So the difference between these cards, after the students learn their letter sounds, and they'll learn these, and these are blends, and that's how this program works. They teach the consonants and the vowels, and then they teach them to blend them together. B, a, ba. So this is ba. And they go down, ba, be, bi, ba, ba. And there's a card like that for every blend. Then they add letters on. Bad, B-A-D, and bat. And, they learn small words, one vowel words first before moving on. So these blend practice cards are essential to the phonics program. You will definitely want them. You can find so many of these flashcards used on eBay. So not only will it save you money to not buy everything that Abeka wants you to buy, but you can get stuff used and in pretty good shape. So then they would learn the basic phonics flashcards. They learn these special sounds, and that's when you then introduce the blend practice cards B. There's 3 letters in these blends as opposed to 2 in this one. So 3 in this one, 2 in that one. And I'll show you what these look like. Sta. So now we have our special sounds and stop, and then we have a vowel added to make the longer blend. Sta, like stack, or stand would be another one. I'm trying to think of these off the top of my head. So these are also essential to the program. The games that I mentioned, I really use these a lot for those games because my kids were pretty quick with just learning their letters, their basic sounds, but these blends, some of them were trickier for them, different ones, and they needed the practice, and so those games gave us variety as we did the reviews. Okay, so those are all materials you will want. Also, you're going to want these just because they're cute and they're fun, and you can put them on the wall, and they're great. These are little mini alphabet flashcards. And I still have a set of these across my wall above my chalkboard in my homeschool room because they're great when my son was learning to alphabetize things. It was nice for him to have a point of reference to look up to. So, and also we would sing the alphabet song, and we would point to these. He would point to them as we sang the song. So it's wonderful to have a set of these to either put on the wall or have them hold and look at as you go through teaching them. So I highly recommend these. I had more than one set of these. They're very inexpensive, I think maybe $5 or something. There's also a very large set that would be good for teaching in a Christian school, or if you have a large room where you want to display them, you could get the large set as well, but the large set is not essential. These aren't really essential either, but I just think they're really great, and they're not expensive, so why not get them? And they all match the clue words. The symbols on them all match the clue words that the kids are going to learn for each of the letters from Abeka. Here are the no's. As I've already mentioned, the teacher's editions are not necessary. The one vowel word cards that they sell are not necessary. I did own a set that someone gave me, so I used them when the curriculum called for them, but they're not necessary. I could have easily just made up my own set with 4x6 cards or 3x5 cards. The lesson plan book that you get from Abeka has in the back of it for the phonics has word lists. Lots of word lists that are one vowel words, 2 vowel words, word lists for each of your blends that you're going to be using. You could use that as a reference and make your own if you want to save money. So you don't have to have the 1 vowel word cards or the 2 vowel word cards. You also don't need the language enrichment cards. That I never used. Again, this is no slam on any of these products. I'm just telling you what you need and what you don't need. And you don't need the language enrichment flashcards. The Basic Phonics Sounds CD. Again, not essential. Never used it. I do know they do not want you saying like buh or duh. B says buh. It says buh. They want you to use short clipped sounds. T, t, not tuh. That's basically what the Phonics CD is going to tell you. It's going to be sure that you're saying those sounds correctly. So again, optional, not necessary. The blend ladders, and I did buy those, and I still have them because I invested in them, and I really kind of hate to part with them. This is what they look like, y'all. Y'all. Here comes my Southern. They're huge. And so we had, as I mentioned, we have a chalkboard, and it's magnetic, and so I would put this up on the chalkboard. And then the way these work is this is how they teach the blends. So these are the P blends. And so we have pa, pa, pi, pa, pa. And you take your pointer and you go all over the ladder and you jumble them up and see if they can read pi and pa and pa. And then after they get that down really well, you start adding in, these come with them, these cards, all the different letters. They have capital on one side and little on the other. And so then you hold it up and they read the word pat, and the word pet, and the word pit, and the word pot, and the word put. So they learn how to build words with the blends and then adding a consonant at the end. These are not essential to the program. I bought them, I don't even know why, on a whim probably, and so therefore I had to use them. So these are reproductions of what is in the blend word book, which is an essential component of the program. It's included in your setup kit that you get from Abeka for Phonics. So you'll already have that. And this is just a giant blow up of what's in the book. So you could easily use the blend practice book. I can't even remember the exact title of it now, but you can use that book to review these. You don't have to buy these cards. The clue word cards. So here's a pop quiz. What's a clue word? Do you remember? Just kidding. The clue word, as I mentioned, is this picture here. So if you say, what's the clue word for k, they would say duck. The clue word cards have the clue words on the cards for them to match to the sounds. Not essential, never used them. I'm sure they're great. I know the curriculum called for them. All of these materials that they tell you to buy, they do tell you how to integrate them in the program. You don't have to just figure it out. They tell you. But you have to, who has endless resources? I didn't. So I couldn't use everything, and what I couldn't buy, I would make if I really needed it. And as I mentioned, so many of these things you can make them with 3x5 cards. What about math? So math is pretty quick. There are 3 very essential components outside of the books that I mentioned earlier. You need your numbers concept cards. I don't have them to show you, but they are like, it'll be a card with a giant, it's about this size. It's 8.5 by 11, so it's really big. It has a giant numeral on one side, and on the back it has pictures. So on the back of the 10, it may show 10 balloons, 1 bear, or whatever the object is, it illustrates it. And it goes 1 to 20, and the curriculum depends on those cards. You have to have those cards. Get those cards. Numbers, charts, and games, as I mentioned, you definitely want all the charts that come with that. You want the games. Get it. Combination dot cards, where are they? I do have them. And I still have these. They're very nice. I've used these all the way up through 3rd grade so far. And they're great. And I'll show you how these work. It's just basically like a domino. And it has addition facts and subtraction. It's all in one. So for instance, 1 plus 0 is 1. 1 take away 0 is 0. So when you're doing subtraction, you start with all the dots on the card. 2 take away the red, 1 leaves the blue, 1. And then 2 take away the blue, sorry, it's backwards, leaves the red, and so forth. And if you're adding, well, 1 plus 1 is 2. So these are really nice to have. I guess they're not necessarily essential to the program, but I found them very helpful. So I would recommend them to you. Again, if you can find, I'm pretty sure you can find a lot of these things on eBay to save you even more money. Last thing I want to mention is the addition and subtraction flashcards. I only got this, I have both, the addition and subtraction. They also have multiplication and division. I don't have those anymore, I don't think. Maybe I never had them. It's hard to remember. It's been a lot of years of homeschooling. But these are huge. You can see the stack. They go through the 18 family. So there's a lot of them. The answers are on the back. The subtraction is in orange, and the answers to the addition are in blue. And they are very good and sturdy. I will say that. I'm going to show you one. So that 1 minus 1. And then, so as you're holding it up, you can see clearly what the answer is, and you can go very fast. They're huge. They're bulky. You probably do just as well to get a set of addition flashcards from, I don't know where, Amazon or Walmart, whoever, wherever you could find, because they do take up a lot of space. As you can see, they are sturdy, but it's overwhelming because there are so many of them. They're individual. There's only one fact on a card. If you buy a set of flashcards from Walmart, you're going to have a different fact on each card, on each side of the card, and then the answer is usually very small in the corner, so the answers are harder to see as you're going through, but I haven't really noticed a big problem with it. And they're smaller, so you're not storing this giant thing. Just my opinion. They're also kind of pricey. So you will absolutely need some type of addition and subtraction flashcards for kindergarten and first grade, but you don't have to buy Abekas by any stretch of the imagination. You don't have to. Also, they ask you to they tell you to use felt pieces. They have different sets, I believe. At least they used to when I was buying from Abeka. I bought one set, and we did use them a lot to illustrate addition and counting and different games. But you can buy felt pieces anywhere, so you don't have to get those from Abeka. They sell manuscript flashcards, which also I do own. I don't know why, I think I found those at a used bookstore perhaps, maybe. That's why I got them, I can't remember. But this is from one of the writing books that my children did. I don't even remember, probably my oldest, my daughter. I tore this out and laminated it. We didn't need flashcards. You can see this shows exactly how Abeka teaches manuscript. It shows you where to start on the red dot, which direction to go, pick up your pencil, where to go next, etc. It illustrates it perfectly right there, and they can just have that in their desk or beside them and follow that. So you don't have to buy any additional manuscript cards for handwriting unless you want to. Of course, if you are loaded, if you have a windfall or have plenty of money, get it all. It'll make your homeschool that much more interesting. It'll save you some time in making extra things for this class. So go for it. But if you are on a budget or if you're limited on space and you don't have a lot of room to store all of these wonderful visuals and manipulatives, then here's a good list of what you need and what you don't need. Also for math, there's several no's. I never use the basic concept cards that they have for math, not the concept flashcards for phonics. These are the concept cards. From what I could tell from looking online at the samples, it's symbols, graphs, charts. I don't think it's essential to the program. I never used that, so it wasn't a problem for us. Individual number cards can be easily made with 3x5 cards. What they do with these is they have the student make numbers with them. So you line up 0 to 9 on their desk or right in front of them, and then you say make 19, 19, and they take the 1 and the 9, and they make the number 19. You can't make 11 obviously, but you can make 10, or they can point to the 5 card. Where's number 5? And they find 5. Very simple to make 10 numbers out of your 3x5 cards. So also there are numbers flashcards that go, I think, all the way up to 200. I made a set of cards that went up to 100 and used those. I never went past 100. And it wasn't a big deal to make 100 flashcards. I mean, I took a Sharpie and a 3x5 card and had 100 of them, put them in a stack. They lasted fine, they did the job, and I didn't have to pay for anything extra. Also, classroom coins. Just use play coins that you can get at Walmart or someplace, or use real coins. I mean, how many are you going to need? We all probably have a jar of change. That'll work fine. Let them see the coin, the president on the coin, what's on the shape of the coin. You could probably even print out a picture of a coin from the internet to have a larger image to show them, to show them the details. So you don't need to buy those. Those are not necessary to the program. So I think I've covered everything. If you have any questions or if there's anything I've left out, please let me know in the comments because I'm here to help. Like I said, I've taught 5 kids using Abeka. I love their program and I understand what it's like to be a homeschool mom on a budget. So hopefully this will be helpful information. If it is, I would really appreciate your subscribing, liking, sharing, tell everybody you know. Or just leave me a comment and let me know that it helped you. I would love to hear from you. Thanks so much for watching and have a great day.